What's up guys, this is 1UX1 and the question I had was, do I need a UX research portfolio to get a job in UX research? So there's a yes and no answer to this, and that depends on where you live in the world. So in the US, in America, you do need a UX research portfolio. Whereas in the UK, we don't really require a UX research portfolio, and it depends on other countries and it varies wherever you're based. Now, what does that actually mean? My advice is, if you have experience, then you should build a UX research portfolio. But if you don't, it's not the end of the world, and there's a few reasons for that. You don't need a UX research portfolio to get a job as a UX researcher. User experience research is relatively new, so it's not a requirement yet in most places. So don't worry if you don't have one. And also don't forget to download my free UX research guide. That will also help you get into your first dream job. So UX research portfolios, why they're not a requirement? One of the reasons is that there's a shortage of UX researchers around the world, as it's such a new career compared to even UX design, which is also relatively new compared to developers. So if you look at the career of UX research, it's the most recent addition to a design team and to a development team. So for that reason, there are plenty of jobs and they're not really requiring UX research portfolios. I haven't had to present one in my jobs as a UX researcher, as a senior UX researcher. Even then, I haven't had to create a portfolio. I just use my UX design portfolio, but you don't really have to. Now, what does that mean for you? It means that if you have no experience, or you're building a case study, so let's say you're working as a volunteer or you're working part-time and you're building these case studies, then it's good to have even a short portfolio. If you don't have one, you need to be really good at your interview skills. So one of the areas is that if there's two candidates and one has a portfolio and one doesn't, they may get selected. Doesn't mean necessarily they will, but obviously if they have a portfolio, it's quite impressive to have one. So if you can build one over time, even if you don't have a lot of experience, you can build one with one case study. It's better than not having one at all. So if you want to know how to build a portfolio, again, there's a guide which you can download below. And don't forget to subscribe for our free taster courses, which are coming soon. Now, in terms of the portfolio itself, how does it look? What should it include? So I'd include something about yourself, so they get to know your personality. Talk about the problem itself that you were solving. So when you're designing it, you want to talk about what was the problem you're trying to solve. How did you discover that problem? How did you find out it was a problem? So you need to use evidence of the interviews, the focus groups, or whatever apps you might have used, even if it was Google Forms or user Zoom. If you don't have any software, don't worry. You can do it on pen and paper. You can interview online on Zoom or Slack to get that feedback. So you just need to show that in your portfolio. After that, you want to show what was the findings. So the quotes from the users, what they said, and what they wanted fixing. So what features they wanted, what components they didn't like, how does it look and feel? So maybe an empathy map of how they think, what they do, how they feel, and what they say. So you want to include that in there to really show that you understand user needs and how to build empathy in design and solutions. And then you want to talk a bit about how you created that solution. So i.e. what you're offering the UX designer as a researcher, you're saying, look, this is what users want. Here are the things you need to fix or look at fixing, because not everything can be fixed. It has to be technically feasible to fix it. But you need to show that you worked with a developer, you worked with design team and said, well, these are my proposals, and show those proposals. So show that you said, right, change the call to action button from green to red, or you need to change the hierarchy of this page, or you did a tree test and you changed the order the users wanted to see the drop-down menu in. So things like that, you want to show that you worked with a team, and then summarize the KPIs of the usability testing, which is at the end, and show that what were the metrics, what are the success metrics. So what are the KPIs? Time on task. You were able to reduce the time it took them to complete the task. It may be navigation times, how long it took them to search and find what they were looking for. So whatever the KPIs are, whatever those are, you want to include them in there. And then the last page, don't forget to add your contact details so that your LinkedIn profile, your email, your phone at the end, even if you're with an agency, they might want to contact you directly. So don't miss the opportunity to add in your personal details at the end. Don't forget, guys, to subscribe, like, and follow. And I'll see you on the next one, helping you become a UX researcher and UX designer. Thank you.